Tomorrow is Memorial Day, and that's the start of summer for lots of us. And we're going to talk about what every woman needs to do in order to get through the summer and enjoy themselves. And we're going to do that in just one moment. Hi there. Welcome to Stress Talk with Marcyline. I'm Marcyline, and this is Stress Talk. This is where we help women over 40 to live healthier lives through strategic stress management and solution focused self care. This light is bothering me, so let me do this. Okay, 1 second. Ah, okay, there we go. It was really gonna aggravate me. I'm so glad that you're here. We are into the holiday weekend, and I know many of you are enjoying yourselves. I know that I am. We cooked out, we had family over, and we had some surprised guests over. They didn't eat, but they kind of helped me with my garden, so that was really kind of cool too. Shared some of our food and things with them, and so it was just fun. It was a fun afternoon. Tomorrow we're going to just probably rest up, work in the garden a little bit, hang out, just have a nice day off. And that's what we want, right? We want to be able to celebrate the holiday in a way that doesn't send our stress levels out of the roof, but we want to have a nice pleasurable time with people that we're enjoying. We want to have activities that we enjoy, and we want to be able to rest. We don't want it to be a stressful occasion, but so often it is. It is a stressful occasion, especially for women who are responsible for planning and making the event happen. Well, we're going to talk about three strategic actions women can take. Before I get to that, I definitely want to invite you to subscribe to our newsletter. It's called Stress Talk in Print. It has gone through some changes, and I'm excited to share those changes with you. So make sure that you sign up. You're going to get a lot of helpful information that's going to help you to keep your stress levels low. It's also going to help you with not just tricks and tips, but we're going to share strategic stress management activities that you can do. We're also going to share solution focused self care actions that you can take. So, why do I use those terms, strategic stress management and solution focused stress self care? I use those terms because we're not just dealing with the surface, we're going deep. We're taking a deep dive into how to manage those things that help your stress level to elevate, and it keeps it there because we know that long term overwhelming stress is not good for us. It's not good for the body. It's not good for us mentally. It's not good for us at all. It actually contributes to some mental health concerns as well as physical health concerns. So, we want to address with strategic stress management solutions as well as solution focused self care actions. We want to address those underlying concerns, those underlying things that contribute to your high, overwhelming stress. So, that's what we're about. So, I don't want to take a whole lot of your time talking about that because I want to get into the meat of what we're discussing. Just go to this link, however, to sign up for our newsletter, please. So, what is our topic for today? Our topic and the things that I'm sharing today are the three strategic actions every woman needs to take to survive summer holidays. Now, when I was a kid, holidays were great, especially during the summer. We loved the holidays. We loved spending time with our cousins and our other relatives because generally over the holidays, our family would get together. It was like a family thing. We would get together. My dad would cook out, and family would come over, friends would come over, and we had a ball. I mean, a lot of times our family and our friends would stay well into the night. I remember running with around playing with my cousins and with other friends over the holidays, and then we'd sit down. Sometimes we'd sit in our driveway and we'd have things like ribs and green beans and spaghetti and all kinds of good stuff. My mom would make ice cream, and it was just a fun time. When I got older and I was an adult and started um, planning events around the summer holidays for our family, I realized that that was a lot of work. It took a lot of work to plan these things. Not only did it take a lot of work to plan it, there was a lot of work involved in executing so that everybody had a great time. As I thought about it, I thought about how women all over the country and maybe all over the world are tasked with planning events around the summer, around summer holidays, around summer activities, and thinking about how much work it takes, as well as the stress involved in it. And I wanted to share these three things because I think it will help you. Again, we're not just talking about surface activities, we're talking about diving deep into activities and those things that raise your stress level. So, the first strategic action that I want to share with you around holidays and summer holiday activities is this: prioritizing. Now, I know we talk about prioritizing all the time, right? We prioritize in our jobs, we prioritize activities at home, we do a lot around prioritization. What I want to share with you, however, is that when we prioritize, we usually prioritize actions. Okay, I'm going to do this first, then I'm going to do this next, and then I'm going to do this following the first two things. That is one way of prioritizing. When we're talking about summer events and planning around the summer holidays, events around the summer holidays, I want you to think about. I want you to think about a different way, some different things to prioritize. Basically, I want you to think about prioritizing not around actions, but prioritizing around feelings. I want you to think, how do I want people to feel as a result of coming to my cookout or my backyard barbecue or my game night at my house? How do I want them to feel? Because we want to think about not just the actions, because you can put things in place, right? You can make sure the food is a certain way. You can make sure the table is set a certain way. You can make sure you have music. that everyone enjoys, or at least some people will enjoy. But you want them, most of the time, you want your guests to leave having a certain feeling. You want them to have a feeling about their time with you, their time in your space. Dr. Maya Angelou once said, and this is a quote that you hear often, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. I think this is very key. When we're prioritizing in terms of our actions, we think about what we're going to do, the steps we're going to take. I'm going to take this, I'm going to do this first, I'm going to do this second, I'm going to do this third. Or we say, this is the most important thing that I need to do. This is the second important thing that I need to do. And this is the third important thing that I need to do. So we prioritize based on steps, based on actions. When you are planning your event or when you're attending an event during the summer, I want you to prioritize your feelings as well as the feelings of others. Because if you do that, what you do, the actions you take won't really matter, right? The putting things in place, making sure the place settings are a certain way, making sure the table settings are a certain way. That's not going to be the most important thing. The most important thing will be how you make your guests feel, how you interact with them, how much time you spend with them, how you focus on them. That's going to be where your priorities are. And so, um, and so I want you to think about prioritizing based on feelings. Number two, under prioritization, remember, we talked about mission. We talked about what our mission is, and we've talked about mission for a long time. When you talk about your mission, I want you to think about your activities over the summer. Think about, do these fit with my mission? Do these do these match what I am trying to communicate to others? That is very key as well. Does it fit with your mission? And that's an important thing because, as you recall, you want your actions, your beliefs, your feelings, your all to align with your mission statement, right? You don't want to act outside of your mission. So if your focus is on the activities and not on how you're making people feel, then you want to make sure that you are, again, making sure that your mission and your actions align. So, the second thing when you're prioritizing, make sure that anything you do, say, think, believe, or feel, any way you're making others feel, you want to make sure that it aligns with your mission. So, that is what I'd like for you to deal with in terms of prioritizing. Next, the next thing is planning. So we often get caught up in our plans and the and planning around the event itself, right? So when we're talking about planning, I want you, again, we're going to focus on feelings and we're going to focus on our personal mission. First, in terms of planning, think about, who are you planning for? All of these things that you're doing to put your put your event together, who are you actually planning for? Are you doing these things for others, or are you doing these things for yourself. Sometimes we have a very high bar in terms of what we want others to see and experience, not in terms of how they feel and how we make them feel, but the experience itself, the look. When they walk in, we want the space to look a certain way. When they're eating the food, we want them to have a certain experience with the food. And so, because we plan around that, again, sometimes we miss what's most important. So think about this. Who are you actually planning for? Are you planning for others? And if that's the case, what do you want them to feel? That's my word of the day. What do you want them to feel? As well as what do you want them to remember? You want it to be a memorable experience, but do you want it to be memorable because of the decorations? Do you want it to be memorable because of the food? Or do you want it to be memorable because of the experience? The experience of spending time with someone who shows that they care, shows that they're interested in them, shows that they're having a good time interacting with others. What is the most important for you? Also, in planning, we can't forget ourselves. We need to make sure that as we are planning for ourselves too. How many times have you gone to an event, a cookout, let's say, or a gathering at someone's home during the summer, and the host is invisible? The host is busy doing things, but you don't have time to spend time with the host. You don't have time to talk to the host or interact with the host because they're doing things. Um, that's is that what you want your guests to experience? Or do you want your guests to experience you? Share the moment with you. So when you're planning, think about how you want to feel and what you want to remember from the experience. These are very, very important points. And then finally, let's talk about the third strategy, preparation. So, as I said, when women are planning an event and prepping an event, lots of times they're doing it on their own. They don't build into the planning opportunities for other people to help them. So, first and foremost, ask for help. Ask for help. Enlist your friends, enlist your family in helping you, not just with getting items for the event or setting up the event. Yes, those things are very important, but enlist them in other ways. And I'm going to give you two examples. The first is activities. Activities. What are you going to do what are you going to do when everybody's at your home for the cookout? Do you have things that are planned for them? Are you the one who's going to orchestrate those activities? Or can someone else do that? Can someone be the DJ? Can someone else cook? Can someone else just check to make sure that the guests are having a good time? Do you have activities that are fun activities that someone can coordinate for you? Have someone assigned to do that, someone who likes to do that. If you're like me, you have a friend who's a social butterfly and they know how to interact with different people and bring people together. Enlist their help. Ask them to do that to make sure that people are interacting and mingling and enjoying themselves. So ask for help. What about children? What do you do about kids? Are kids invited? to the event? Well, if you're, most of the time we socialize with people who have similar families as ourselves. And so, because of that, if you have children and people you've invited have children, create a way for the children to have fun as well. Okay? So, engage a parent to develop activities for the children, right? Or get a teenager or a young adult, a college age student person who can orchestrate and coordinate activities for kids. Those are the things that you can do as you're preparing for your outdoor activity or your cookout during the summer. Another thing is in preparation, build an event around a theme. That way you can engage others' investment in the planning and in the preparation. You don't have to do everything, right? You can just have them be a part of the preparation. Our oldest daughter loves Formula One racing, and they have Formula One parties. Well, everybody who comes to their Formula One party, it has an investment in it. So they know, hey, I'm going to bring the pizza, or I'm going to bring the wings, or I'm going to bring the drinks, or I'm going to bring our scorecards, right? Everybody is invested. So if you're having a cookout, if you're having an event at your home, build it around a theme. Themes are really great because you can always rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. You can use whatever model or format you use to prepare for the event and just keep using that. Just keep using your formula. If it works, just keep doing it. If it doesn't work, just tweak it a little bit. Another thing that I want to share with you around preparation is make sure you delegate, ask others to help you. I've said that before, but also simplify what you're doing. You don't have to have an elaborate event or an elaborate things for people to enjoy themselves. A lot of times, simple is best, especially when you're having a cookout or when you're having a gathering in your yard or on your patio. Simple is best. So simplify, delegate, ask others to help you. Use the same model, just rinse and repeat. So I've just shared with you 3 strategic actions every woman needs to survive summer holidays. And a lot of this, again, goes deep. We know the words prioritizing, planning, and prepping, right? But I want you to think a little deeper as you're planning your events for the summer. We talked about prioritizing, not just prioritizing actions. This is the first thing, this is the second thing, and this is the third thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do them in that order. I talked about prioritizing how you want your guests to feel, as well as how you want to feel. Because if we prioritize those things, then some of the actions that we're taking will know are unnecessary and they're not needed. We'll also operate differently. Instead of focusing on making sure everything's in place, we will focus on interacting and engaging with our guests. I talked about planning as well. And in terms of planning, I talked about making sure that you know who you're planning for and what you're planning. Again, focus on how you want others to feel and what you want them to remember when they leave. Not only others, you also want to know how you want to feel. How do you want to feel when the event is over? And what do you want to remember? What will be your takeaway when the event has ended. Enlist help from others. Develop activities. Have someone focus on activities for children so that you're not doing it all. Build an event around a theme so that others will be invested in making sure that all of the things are in place so that you all have a good time and it's not falling all on you to make sure things are in place. And then finally, preparation. Again, engage others in the investment, ask others to help you, delegate, definitely delegate, but also simplify. You don't have to have an elaborate event, you just have to have one that is fun and engaging. Use the rinse and repeat model so that it's the same format, it's just kind of different. You've just kind of tweaked it. Well, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Stress Talk Live with Marcyline. I'll be back next week, same time, same place. I look forward to seeing you. Drop comments in the chat. Make sure you comment. Comment what are some of the things that you do in order to plan, prioritize, and prep your summer event. Probably some of those things will help others as well. You can do it whether you're watching live as well as if you're watching on the replay. Well, that's all for now. I'm Marcyline Bailey. As always, take good care.